Welcome to my library, dear guest. My name is Ko, and I will be your storyteller. Lean back and relax as I read to you today's story, titled DM Tries to Kill Player and Gets Mad When He Can't, by the author, D&D is Life 2021. Game, Rime of the Frost Maiden. Sessions into the game, 6. Players, from 6 players down to 4. Game difficulty, hard. Player level, 4. The game itself was pretty hard. For example, normal NPCs would all have triple attacks and roll 10 to 20 damage per hit. I love a challenging game, and that's part of the reason I stuck around. The problem was, I was a divination wizard with 20 HP. One hit from a normal NPC could knock me down. I was pretty much forced to become a cleric to up my AC and health. I talked to the DM and he said that if I pledged my loyalty to the demon Levistus, who was trapped in hell and had no power in the world above, I could become a cleric. The castle we had reached were all cultists of Levistus and badly needed a leader, so I volunteered. I pledged myself to Levistus and things were looking good. Fast forward to the next session, the DM tells me that Levistus can only turn me into a warlock and not a cleric, since he's not a god. I was a bit confused, as I had already pledged myself to him under the reasoning that I'd become his cleric. The DM then tells me, oh no, you'd be a warlock, which doesn't help my survivability whatsoever. I told him that's not what I wanted, so he said, well, you just become a warlock for now, and when you release him from his trap, you'll become his first cleric. I wasn't okay with that at all. I later found out from my other friend that in the module, Levistus doesn't get released until level 12 to 13. The game continued into the next session. One thing led to another, and I asked my teammate to help me perform a ritual so that I could follow the same god she does, Odin. Odin matched the personality of my character, had the domain I liked, and it would allow me to bond with that player. The ritual begins, and I am immediately met by a giant god. No idea what his name is. A few moments into that conversation, I am pulled into a realm of Asmodeus. He tries to convince me to sign a contract. I read it over carefully with an 18 intelligence stat. The DM makes me roll an intelligence check, and I roll poorly. Not that it mattered, since Asmodeus is a god, his deception check is insane. I couldn't even possibly beat it with a nat 20. The DM made sure I knew this. One thing leads to another, the DM puts pressure on me, and I sign under duress. The DM later chuckles and says, "You'll find out about the fine print eventually." Great. I finished the ritual off with Asmodeus telling me that I need to confront the leader of the Levistus cult at the castle and 1v1 him in front of the cultists. Once I do that and win, I will control the cult and convert the followers to Asmodeus. So we do exactly that. We arrived at the castle of cultists, where we were previously extremely friendly with. The DM tells us there is a magical blizzard and we are forced inside. We look around and see nothing. The DM starts initiative. 3 of us roll 21 for initiative, but the DM makes me go first. The DM accidentally left a door open in front of me with a campfire, knowing I'd take the bait. So I run for it, not seeing any danger in the way. The moment I walk through the door and enter the tower, the DM says, "The door magically closes and locks behind you." No checks, no sign, nothing. I am now trapped and 100% separated from my party. You can guess where this is going, right? The battle begins as cultists begin attacking the group I am now separated from. Apparently, the entire cult I was friends with hours ago somehow knew I had switched sides and were prepared for it. Then it happens. The DM instantly teleports a CR-14 Ice Devil, which has immunity to fire, which were the only spells I have, resistance to all normal damage, blindside 60 feet, and a run speed of 40. I am a level 4 wizard with 29 HP. I ask the DM where this creature came from. The DM says it just instantly knows where you are and teleports to you. It attacks me 3 times before I can even make a move. 26 to hit, 18 to hit, and 22 to hit. The creature has plus 10 to hit, and my AC is now 20 due to my plate armor. Yeah, I spent everything we had, 1,500 gold, for plate armor an hour ago to up my survivability for nothing. As soon as the DM rolls the 26, I tell him I want to use my portent ability and change his 26 to a nat 1. He says, "You have to be faster, I already rolled the damage." The problem is, he rolls damage a second after he rolls to hit, giving me no chance to react. I plead my case and he begins gloating about how nice he is and allows me to use it in order to save face in front of the group. I am now down to 15 health. My turn comes up. I use Misty Step to go to the stairs. I run up the stairs and he waits until I made 20 feet across the top of the tower and tell me there's 3 cultists standing up there. He tells me they see me instantly. I take a healing potion and am now back up to 21 HP. I end my turn. The ice demon comes up the stairs and casts a level 6 ice wall on me, doing 33 points of damage. I somehow luck out again and roll a 19, taking half damage. I am now down to 5 health. I spent the entire round discussing my plans to survive and get away. I was going to use shield versus his attacks to up my AC to 25, Misty Step down and sprint away. It should have worked. My turn comes up and I decide to Misty Step down the castle to make a run for it. The DM tells me, "Oh, that reminds me, the blizzard outside deals 10 cold damage. No save. You instantly get knocked out before you can do anything." What? Why wasn't I told it was this cold before I came upstairs? He replied, "Oh, it's not me, it's just what I rolled in private." He then says, "You begin falling off the side of the castle tower." At this point I am super confused. First I get insta-knocked out and then I fall off the castle to instantly fail death saves. I argue with the DM that I got knocked out by the cold on top of the tower and I didn't even have a chance to move. He goes, "Okay, well, then you'll be stuck up there with the ice demon anyways." As a final act, I tell my Gibbler, small beholder creature familiar, to go into my pocket and break a magical tablet that summons a snow giant who lives in a floating castle. This is an artifact he gave me as a part of his mythic setting. Everyone got to roll on a table for trinkets. The DM logs off and says he's done with this and ends the session. The group spends an entire hour wondering what the fuck just happened, and we all realize that the challenge rating 14 Ice Devil is impossible to kill, especially as level 4 characters. The only chance to survive this is to be forced to use one of the wishes we get from the Deck of Many Things 2 hours prior. Yes, he had us all draw from the Deck of Many Things. We got 2 wishes, 1 change fates, and I got 10k XP, which he didn't let me level up until I took a long rest and a night, which I never ended up getting. The DM cancels the campaign a day later and saying he's stressed. Has too much going on with his life, and that's that. I later found out from my other friend who played this module that the CR14 ice demons are only in the campaign at the end of the game if Levistus escaped. He has to open a portal to summon them from his realm. And that is the story about how I made a DM quit by fighting to survive. And that was today's story. I hope you enjoyed your stay and that I will see you again soon, for there are always more stories to be shared.